Good morning, bronies! This is the Concert Cruiser, and I had a blast at Everfree Northwest. Meeting people from the show, attending the Royal Banquet, interviewing Tony Fleeks. I even made some new friends. My panel was a huge blast too, but I couldn't use a whole lot of the jokes and the clips and cutaways that I wanted to, so I figured, screw it, just doing my normal format. Now, aside from the audio references, I will be talking about some of the visuals, because not only are there visual references, but people tend to forget that music is just as much about the visuals as it is about the audio. As much as I love music, one of its biggest flaws is that it's an audio-driven medium, but we are visual creatures. Without visual aid, it makes it harder to sell. It's one of the reasons why music isn't doing so good these days. Now, to start off, let me talk about one of the biggest criticisms of this album. It wasn't the rock album we were promised. It was a pop album. To that, I have to say, it's both. People tend to forget that pop rock is a legit form of music. Bands like Def Leppard, Walk the Moon, heck, even the king of pop himself, Michael Jackson, used a lot of elements of rock in his music. So the fact that this was a pop rock album doesn't bother me. And also, let's face facts, you're not gonna get death metal in My Little Pony. I'm sorry, it's just not gonna happen. But you will be surprised to see what they did squeeze in there. However, there is one thing I can't stand on this album.
Slumming in at number 2 are songs that try to pass off la-las, na-nas, and doot-doos as legit lyrics.
There is an abundance of O's in these songs. You may not notice it when you're watching the movie, but that's because it's spaced out. But when you listen to it on the soundtrack, it's just one after the other and the other and the other. So I'm afraid that's one strike against this album. Now, the first song we're going to tackle was not in the movie, but it was still on the soundtrack. Music to My Ears. And I can't say anything about it. Sorry, I just don't do dubstep. I really don't know what to think of it. I really don't know how to critique it. But luckily, I found somebody who does. So this next passage was written by Einarx. Einarx believes that this melody is a reflection of the character. And by that, he means the basses are nasty. They're not over-exaggerated. Which I personally agree with, because as much as Bronies love Nowacking's voice for her, let's face it, this...
Oh yeah! Good morning, Ponyville!
...isn't vinyl. This is Skrillex. It's highly exaggerated and over the top. Even when our actual vinyl is spinning back there, she doesn't act like this.
We crank that bass up to 11 and cleans off the dishes on a microscopic level. Yeah!
The actual vinyl has a demeanor that says too cool for words and lets her actions do the talking. So recognize the difference. Vinyl, Skrillex. Actions do the talking. Ecstasy and Red Bull. One thing I will say is I can see where they were going with this music video. If you ever wore earbuds while playing a great song, it almost feels like you're in your own POV music video. Try it sometime. Now let's get to the songs that were actually featured in the movie. We get the self-titled theme first, and as much as I love this song, I will admit the percussion is just a reworking of the Cafeteria song. That being said, I am willing to let this slide, because they went from girly pop to Queen. Yes, this song is actually very much in the same style as Queen. We have the percussion mixed with the hand clapping from Rock You, and the keyboard slow guitar build from We Are the Champions.
I consider it a challenge before the whole human race, and I
We even had them singing in unison, which Queen were known for. In fact, a lot of the Rain Boom songs seem very heavily inspired by Queen, which does make sense. They tend to border that pop rock line, though I doubt any of the girls at Freddie Mercury's range. What I personally liked about this song is the bass. See, I come from the world of heavy metal, and as much as I love it, its biggest flaw is that the guitars are so rusty and distorted that the bass player has no other option than to play exactly what the guitarist is doing. But in a song like this, AJ gets to strut her stuff and show off her bass skills, just like she did in the prequel short. Fun fact, if you actually look at AJ's prequel short, inside Flim Flam's pawn shop, there is a vinyl record of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon hanging on the wall. Anyway, let's move on to our second song, Better Than Ever. This is one of two songs that's really the only girly pop numbers on this album. But even then, it's still not bad. It actually closely resembles Michelle Branch's Everywhere.
'Cause you're everywhere to me. And when I close my eyes,
Michelle uses influences from a style that I call traditional rock. Bands like Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, the power of Aerosmith. This song is similar to those styles, with a hint of Jewel and indie rock. But there may be a hidden reference in this song. Now, this is total headcanon territory, but hear me out on this. Listen to these lyrics.
we are all together. Now it's better than ever.
How many of you think they're talking about their friendship? Yeah, I don't know. What they're saying seems to have a double meaning. Think about it. Now it's better than ever. What is? Their friendship? Who talks like that?
You can feel it.
You can feel it. Feel what? Their friendship is stronger? Or getting a better vibe from this film?
We are back.
As in the five of them are back? Or the Equestria Girls brand is back?
And I'm so glad that we're better
Than the first film.
There was a time.
Yeah. Now, like I said, this is total headcanon territory, but if there's one thing I learned from Daniel Ingram at the Grand Brony Gala, it's...
Megan McCarthy. And it makes a lot of sense because she is a serious smack talker, let me tell you.
And look who co-wrote that song. Makes you think, doesn't it? Could this have been her saying, "Alright, bronies, you want a better movie? I'll give you a better movie!" Hopefully my path will cross his one more time and I can ask him myself. But perhaps there's more to these songs than meets the ear. Now let's move on to the musical debut of perhaps the best villains in the Equestria Girls series, the Dazzlings, with their song Battle of the Bands. Now the first thing to note is that there are two versions of this song. We have the version that we got on the album,
Battle. You wanna win it.
and the one we got in theaters.
Battle of the Bands, it's gonna be a good time. Jack Black forgot to pay the rent again.
Girls.
Yeah, now like I said, the one we got in theaters.
You wanna win it.
According to Daniel Ingram, the reason for this is...
Basically what happens is, once a song is written and recorded, I'll mix it in stereo. And a lot of times now Hasbro's like, hey, we want those mixes, we want that soon. So we got a stereo mix that would be used as a soundtrack mix or promotional mix that goes out. And then suddenly it's like 3 or 4 months later, now we need a 5.1 surround mix.
So that answers that. But sitting in the theater, there was something about this song that just seemed familiar. Like I heard something like this before, but I couldn't quite put my hoof on it. But when the chorus line came, that's when it hit me. This is a Marilyn Manson song. Allow me to explain. Marilyn Manson's production style has a signature sound. It's about making his guitars sound mostly like digital static rather than just rusty distortion. For example, this is his cover of Tainted Love. And the Dazzlings have a similar production style. Hear it? Hear it? Plus, they both use a lot of digital synthesizer effects. This genre of music is called industrial metal because it resembles something that's driven by machines. And to even further cement this analysis, I actually tweeted Daniel in the theater telling him I can hear the Marilyn Manson production style, and he responded by liking the tweet. And now, this cringe fest.
Oh yeah, Snips and Snails in the house, yo.
They call me MC Snips, and there ain't no lie. My favorite food is like pumpkin pie.
I'm Gigi Snazzy Snails. I like whales. When I go to the beach, I always bring my pails.
Everybody knows my favorite color is orange. My rhymes are so fly, they're better than,
Then an orange, yo.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Represent! What do we?
How do we get
now?
off the stage? I'd like
know.
to leave right now.
Bam! That just happened.
Oh yeah, we
Snips and
out.
Snails out of here.
Beautiful.
Okay, despite how hard it is to sit through this, there are a few hip-hop references within the visuals. Like Snips' shutter shades as part of the getup that Kanye West wears, as well as the giant clock necklaces from Flava Flav. Plus the name DJ Snazzy Snails is a reference to DJ Jazzy Jeff. Now let's go back to the actual songs. Next up we have Shake Your Tail. This is the other girly pop song, and while there isn't much in the name of visuals within the movie, there certainly is in the music video. Mostly when it comes to the costumes.
You can never have enough costumes.
They're actually reminiscent of Kiss, but has the color palette of Gem and the Holograms, and I am so sorry. Anyway, while this is the other girly pop song, something about this number also seemed familiar, particularly within the key signature. That's when I realized this is an Andrew WK song. But that may have been coincidental, because I asked Daniel about it and he didn't really seem to be aware of Andrew's work. But just listen. Plus, while Andrew is a classically trained pianist, he does add elements of hard rock and pop because there's not much high-impact energy in the world of classical. And on a side note, someone took Shake Your Tail as a hidden reference for shaking your flank, which I don't agree with. Anybody who has grown up with a sister or is a rocker like myself would know there is a hairstyle called a ponytail. So this could actually be a reference to headbanging, a very proud tradition of my people. And there may be another hidden reference in this song. Have you ever noticed how drastic this line sounds?
So what, you didn't get it right the first time? Laugh it off. No one said it is a crime.
Not only does this not make much sense within the scope of the movie, but even when you look at it within the realm of the music video, who would call not getting a party theme right as a crime? Sure, Pony Pinkie Pie probably would because she's a professional party planner, but Equestria Girl Pinkie Pie isn't. Sure, there's a term called party foul, but I'm willing to wager that the party guests aren't going to have you arrested for bringing the wrong kind of cider. And then there's this.
Do your thing, you know you're an original. Your ideas are so funny that they're criminal.
Who looks for originality in parties, and who would call them criminal? I think this was another wink at the Bronies about the first film's criticisms. Think about it. Again, it may be headcanon territory, but it does make you think. And now on to my favorite song, Under Our Spell. Why is it my favorite? because the Manson production is bigger in this song. The guitars have an effect layered on top of them, it's still surrounded by synthesizers, and the lyrics are hypnotic and influential. Now, to prove my point even further, let's actually take a look at a couple of metal versions of this song and see how easily they translate into this genre. Did you hear how easily that fits? And how it doesn't come off sounding like a novelty? Kind of like a...
Do you have time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything all at once?
Yeah, can you tell how goofy that sounded? It doesn't even sound like a legit song, it sounds like a parody of the original. Next up, we have Awesome As I Wanna Be. And what's so awesome about this song? It's made in the same style as legendary punk rockers, the Ramones.
Aye, oh, let's go. Aye, oh, let's go. Aye, oh, let's go. Aye, oh, let's go.
The strumming pattern in the chorus, plus the bass and drums, all have similar writing styles as the Ramones. But my favorite part of this performance is the visuals. Everything Rainbow does is a signature move that has been captured in concert photography. Her strut is a reference to Angus Young of AC/DC's and Chuck Berry's Duck Walk. Her jumping through the air, the leg extension, playing guitar behind her head, and my personal favorite, the hair sway. Rainbow may like to show off, but she's a rocker at heart, and that's why she is best Equestria girl.
Watch out for me, I'm awesome as I wanna be.
Now, the next song on our playlist is Tricks Up My Sleeve by Trixie and the Illusions. Now, the first thing I have to say about this song is, where's Trixie's guitar? You played it during the song at your school, but not the concert? It doesn't even sound different. Was it even plugged in? That's another strike for consistency. And on a side note, how can a school afford to rent out an amphitheater and pyro? I thought they were trying to raise money, not spend it. And how can vinyl afford such a car? Oh, right. What were we doing? Oh yeah! Tricks Up My Sleeve, right. Okay, here's what's unique about this song. It uses a similar production style to Cyndi Lauper's She Bop. Notice how the beginning is just a bunch of samples and sound effects. Just like Tricks Up My Sleeve.
You better believe I got tricks up my sleeve, and I captivate, cause I'm powerful and great. Yeah, yeah.
Trixie kinda sounds like her too. Give or take an octave or two. However, the difference between the two styles is Cyndi's has more of a synthesized dark sound, while Trixie is more like hip-hop, which does make sense. She is a very cocky character who has an ego, just like how a lot of hip-hop artists do. They tend to brag and talk very highly of themselves. The big difference between her and Rainbow Dash is that she can at times be humble and put her ego away. Trixie is on full display 24/7, and Rainbow... has a better song. Now we have reached our epic climax. Welcome to the show. Now throughout this video, I have compared the Dazzlings to Marilyn Manson. But here they seem to take somewhat of a different approach. And by that I mean, they sound more reminiscent of one of my favorite bands, Lacuna Coil. Now this was coincidental because when I mentioned this to Daniel, he wasn't sure who they were. But what makes this different from their previous performances is in the intro, the guitars are essentially gone except for the bass, and have been replaced by synthesizers and the vocals are a little lighter. The Rain Booms, however, don't have much of that Queen kick to them, and the drums are a little too basic. Normally the simplest riffs are often the best, but think back to the short Pinky on the One. Remember how she was all over that drum kit? And now she's just...
The one and only thing that I am here to bring is music, is the music, is the music in my soul.
Luckily, they pick up during the showdown, which was a rhythmic back and forth between the Dazzlings and the Rainbows that just culminates in this very powerful breakdown in which Sunset is given a chance to voice her feelings, which ultimately makes the song as powerful as it is. The music in this final battle doesn't really feel reminiscent of any particular band. If anything, I'd say it's all Daniel. And fun fact, Daniel was worried that the music was becoming too dark and metal sounding, but surprisingly, Hasbro said, no, more.
That sequence when the Dazzlings have transformed into dragons and now they're swooping down on the Rainbows, and originally it was just instrumental and it's kind of heavy metal and it's pretty heavy, you know, and I was like, this is too heavy, and they're like, no, this is what we want. I'm like, okay. You know, if I was in the woods and I had heard this, I'd be like petrified. But they were like, no, that's okay, these kids can handle it.
And finally, we have reached Shine Like Rainbows. Some may argue that this is another girly pop song, but I don't think that's the case. If anything, this comes off more like an a cappella song. Just listen.
Shine like rainbows, shine like rainbows.
Now, this particular song was actually made from the project that I'm working on with my partner Sasha Lace called Project Rock, where we're taking all the songs of Rainbow Rocks and pulling out the corporate stops. Check the link in the description below. Anyway, while there are certainly instrumentations, it's minimal at best. The only one that really shines, no pun intended, is the percussion. But again, there's not much to it. Don't get me wrong, this is not a bad song. Like I said, this is an a cappella song, which takes me back to...
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Okay. All jokes aside,
Shine like rainbows, shine like rainbows.
the only thing I didn't like about the visuals is when they put their hands up.
Holding our heads up high as the sun shining through it all.
What is this? What does it mean? Wouldn't a fist get the point across? Like, no one's gonna stop us, instead of, I'm gonna smack you. So this did not make any sense at all. But despite that, see what I mean when I say this album is more rock than you think? This soundtrack was incredible. This soundtrack is amazing. I still listen to it to this day. And Daniel, if you're watching this, I cannot wait to hear what you come up with for the MLP movie. Now I want to hear from you. What was your favorite song on this album? And more importantly, why wasn't Perfect Day for Fun released? I'll have to cover that some other time. But comment below and let me know. And until next time, I'll see you on Hoof Rock.